Hey y'all, welcome to Black Girl Joy. We had a little snafu, so if you don't catch us live, you will catch a replay. So while we're here, and because of our technical snafu, please like, share, and subscribe so everyone can know to join in on our new link. So today, I'm so excited to welcome our special guest. We are talking about the sweet life when women try to have it all. And what does that mean for us? That is what we're trying to figure out. So I am going to welcome Miss Tania.
Hello.
Hi, Tania.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me.
No, thank you for joining. So, we're talking about the sweet life when women try to have it all.
Hmm.
So, let me tell you where this story begins for me.
Okay.
Dare I say, about 20, 25 years ago. It's a long time ago.
Long time
A
ago.
long time ago. I remember being somewhere around preteen, teenager, and thinking, you know what? When I grow up, I'm going to go to college. In 2 years, I'm going to get married. In 2 years, I'm going to have twins so I can get it all over with at once.
Okay.
Right? And I have this perfect life planned, and I am trying to have that was my vision of having it all. And so, as I became an adult, quickly as I became an adult, like right around 20, that plan all went to crap.
So crap.
It was crap. It was crap. It was like, what? Like life hits you like a ton of bricks. And
Hmm.
so I feel like after that, for a few years, and even sometimes now, I'm constantly measuring my life over what I thought it would be, right, at this moment. And it brought me to the struggle of women trying to have it all, meaning for me, having the career, having the family, having the luxury, right? Like
Hmm.
having the social life and the
Hmm.
friends, and just really being able to fully enjoy life, but at the time not understanding the complexities of life. Did you have a moment like that where you kind of planned out your life and what it would mean to like grow up and just have everything you want?
I think we all have I've had thoughts of the things that I would see myself having,
Mhm.
but I'm also a kind of go with the wind kind of girl. So I
Mhm.
think part of it was just being at peace and being happy. Like
Mm.
it wasn't like these particular things have to happen, but I think
Yeah.
that's more so my kind of go with the flow part of
So
it.
as you gotten older, do you feel like now in life, do you feel like it's even realistic? Or what does even having it all mean to you?
I think now, and if you would have asked me this probably 5 or 10 years ago, it would be different.
Mhm.
um, but I think now it's all about balance.
Mm.
You want social, you want your family life, you want your career or your professional life, and you kind of want to find that balance. For me, that's what I see as having it all.
Yeah.
It's the balancing act of all of those things. Um, go ahead.
Oh, no. So where are you on that journey of trying to have it all? Is it realistic to have it all?
I think I think it is realistic to have all of the things that you desire to have. And I think that was instilled in me as a child that if
Mhm.
there's something out there that you want, it is yours, for the taking. I
Mhm.
think it's a matter of trying to find that balance to make those things happen. So the first thing that I had to realize was that something is going to suffer, or there may be some form of a sacrifice.
Mhm.
So you can have it all, but you can't be great at everything. So something's going to sacrifice. So you have to be in a position to be able to accept what are you willing to sacrifice to have it all.
Awesome. So when you sacrifice to have it all, I guess when you were talking, I'm thinking you can have it all, but maybe not all at once.
Maybe not all at once, or possibly you may have to build those things.
Mhm.
So let's say, for instance, you're taking your professional life,
Mhm.
and then let's say, like for me, then I have my son. Well, certain things, professionally or businesses or things that I may have been doing, now have to slow down because
Mm.
now we have to prioritize. So maybe that thing has to adjust, right? And so now my part of my having it all is now
Yeah.
I'm the best mom that I could be to him.
Mhm.
Now that becomes my priority and something else takes the back seat. So it's just, I think you can stack things together, but you might have to build them in a different order or build them in a different way to build that, I'm going to say, castle or house that you want, that you consider all of the things that you want.
Yeah. So when you look at like your life, Tania's like a
Mhm.
world-renowned baker.
Yeah.
She's
Well,
a
you know.
world, she's a world-renowned baker, right? And so
Okay.
you were baking cakes, you were working full time, you had your son,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
You travel, you guys travel and have so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
What are you sacrificing to do that?
For me, for instance, we didn't travel at first because I
Hmm.
was just trying to figure it all out. I mean, to be honest, I
Yeah.
mean, you look at life and when things get thrown at you, you're saying to yourself, okay, so how am I going to manage this? These were the things that I enjoyed doing. And as I was baking, I've done several different
Hmm.
things. And so I had all of these different things going on. So it became me sitting down, going back to the drawing table, and having that day or
Hmm.
that moment. And I think this moment is really important, especially for women. That moment where you stop and you say, okay, the way this has been going is not going to work. You know that there's things that you need emotionally or,
Hmm.
things that you need to accomplish and do that bring you fulfillment. And you realize I'm not doing them anymore. Like I
Yeah.
don't see it, I don't experience it, I don't have the social life, I don't get invited anywhere because or whatever the case may be. And you have to stop and reflect and say, okay, so it's that aha moment of I'm not going to continue like this. And I think in that moment, I decided, well, we're going to have to figure out how we can travel together. And when he got old enough, I was like, all right, let's go.
Time to go.
It's time to go.
Do you think that society, especially in the last decade, I would say, has really pushed the hustle mentality, right? You got to hustle.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
Mm-hmm.
hustle. Like you always got to hustle. Everybody got
Mm-hmm.
to have a side gig or two side gigs or three side gigs.
Or,
And yeah, or more, or more, right?
or more.
In
Yeah.
order to feel like we got to keep hustling so that we can
Mm-hmm.
reach this status that we feel like we'll feel like we made it. The only way we're
Mm-hmm.
gonna make it is if we hustle and almost work ourselves into the ground.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Did you go through some of that when you were doing all of this stuff?
Yes, and I still do. I think a lot of us do. I
Mhm.
mean, you're still trying to manage. I want a certain level. I want a level of success. I want a level of financial success. I want a level of emotional success. Like all these different things. I think you have to stop and figure out what success looks like for you.
Mhm.
So for me, I had to determine that it's not just being at a, of course, I have a financial goal,
Mhm.
but it's like, it's not just about that. It's about my happiness and the things that I enjoy. Like, to me, that is success. So if I look back and I'm thinking about what is it to have it all, it would be being able to be purposeful, being able to be at peace, having my priorities in order.
Mhm.
Um, you know, those things are really important. And then the people in your life, being able to
Yeah.
be there for the people in your life.
Mhm.
Because I sat down one day and I hear or maybe like you go on, Instagram where you're seeing all these different people speak and podcasts, of
Yeah.
course. And a lot of people were talking about what success meant to them. And
Mhm.
one thing that I saw, like if you Google it, like I'm not gonna make it this big great science, you can Google it.
Yeah.
But if you talk to billionaires or people that you deem successful in that, right,
Yeah.
they'll say, I missed a lot of opportunities. I wish I would have jumped on this deal. I
Mhm.
wish I would have had this opportunity, right? But if you take these same people and you look at them before they die, like as they get closer to death,
Mhm.
all they talk about is, I wish I would have spent more time with this person. I wish
Exactly.
I would have forgiven this person. I wish I would have squashed this beef with that person. I missed the time I didn't have with my kids.
Yeah.
And so I thought about it and I'm like, that is two completely different perspectives. Like
Perspectives.
one
Yeah.
is completely external and the other one is completely internal. So it's kind of like when they got to the end of their lives,
It's like what really mattered.
what really mattered.
Yeah. I want to point out this comment. It's a lot of butts in the comments. Russell Butts, you can have it all, but it takes proper preparation. I think that's key, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes we want to have it all at once. That's me. Like, I'm like,
Hmm.
Lord, I'm over 30 now. I'm supposed to be, I was supposed to retire at 35. That was legit my plan when I was 20.
Okay.
Didn't happen, but it does. It takes
Mhm.
preparation and patience,
Yes.
right? And
It does.
resilience and
Resilience.
consistency. And I think those are the hardest, like resilience and consistency are
Yeah.
so hard. So you
Hmm.
see a lot of people doing like quick startups, quick, these kind of quick hits You do it and you stop, you do it and you stop, because
Mhm.
resilience, to me,
And
that's
it's the strength to be resilient because it takes a great strength to be able to get knocked down
mm-hmm.
several times
Mm-hmm.
and get back up like it never happened.
Yeah.
And I think you almost have to master that, to a certain
Yeah.
degree.
A mindset. It's like legit, you have to go into a mindset. And sometimes,
Hmm.
even for me, I'm like, okay, I ain't gonna do this no I can't do this no more. And I
Yeah.
may need to take a minute, right? And it's
Mhm.
okay to take a minute and be like, okay. And I think one thing we also find is that people do stuff sometimes for the wrong reasons. I'm gonna go to Talisha's comment. I
Mhm.
think social media has added unnecessary pressure. Sometimes we're doing stuff for the wrong reason. Sometimes we're doing it because we saw somebody else doing it.
Mhm.
We saw someone else be really good at it.
Mhm.
Somebody told us we should do it. And
Mhm.
we use that as motivation, but that's not lasting motivation. That is
Yeah.
temporary motivation. And
Absolutely.
therefore, you don't usually follow through with it. You don't
Mhm.
have the motivation, the driving factors to say, let me get back up and be resilient.
And a lot of times, you have to just tap out. Like when you were talking about figuring out a plan, or how I was deciding to get back out there and do things.
Mm-hmm.
And you kind of have to get in your zone and tap out so that you're able to prepare and
Mm-hmm.
plan for how you're going to attack it and make it happen. And know that it's not going to be perfect. Like you just said, you have this plan. You're going to try to prepare, right?
Yeah.
You have this plan, but it's not going to be perfect. So, again, that's when the resilience comes back in.
Yeah. All right, we have boom boom. Boom boom.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not gonna make a joke about that one. I agree about the resilience and consistency. Thank you.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then Miss Chandra said, "You don't know the value of winning until you had an L." And may
Yes.
I say, you will have many L's if you are trying to have it all. You are going to have loss after loss
Mm-hmm.
after loss after loss, and that getting back up, how do you fuel yourself when you go through those losses? Because it's mental, right? But
Mm-hmm.
what do you tell yourself to get back on the horse?
So, first, I kind of look at that L not just as a loss,
Mm-hmm.
but as a learning opportunity.
Redefine the L.
So, yeah, redefine the L because I can tell you from experience that the things that I have been through have brought me to the point where I am now, where I'm able to then take my experiences and not only empower myself, but empower other people.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a big part of it. And once you are purposeful, like you're taking those L's and you're flipping them like flapjacks, like 30 ways, right? You want to make sure that you're taking those L's and you're applying them to your life. You're taking those L's and you're pouring back into other people. It's amazing how you will feel when you're able to take your situation, flip it and then be a blessing to somebody else.
Mm,
Um, and then also to refuel, of course, for me, I have to pray about it. Like, I just have to go back in it and say, okay, let me pray about this. Let me let go. That's another L.
oh,
You have the L's that you have to let go of in order to move forward, and things that you have to accept and be at peace with. And then you're able to kind of move forward. But that's for me, that's a big part of it. A big part of it was that's how I started doing cakes. I mean, um, it refueled me. Like I'm very creative, so it was something for me to pour my creativity into. And,
mm-hmm.
like I've done music, I've done all these,
Yeah.
different things, and so whenever I find myself in a space and I kind of have to refuel, I know I can always go to some creative energy and it'll get me going. Um,
Yeah.
so I would say that, and I always tell, even in my other professional life, in healthcare, I tell it to my patients. I'm like, no matter what you're going through, if you are in a headspace, you have to find something to refuel you.
Oh, yeah.
Like, or you can't get through it.
Yeah.
Even physically, you can't get through it. You got to find that space.
Yeah. So I want to hit on two things. I'm going to hit on headspace because you said it
Mm-hmm.
last. So over the last, oh geez, February was rough,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
February
Mm-hmm.
was rough. And for me, I feel like you need to know yourself. So I know I'm an introvert. So when I am mentally drained, it is best for me to be by myself. It
Mm-hmm.
is best for me not to talk to anyone. That doesn't work for everyone. I'm not going to say everybody do that. But
Mm-hmm.
I literally had to put myself in the headspace. I had to take myself out of my everyday surroundings. Even if I was just at the park, I went to the park for a little bit and just sat, and I started to refuel. I went and had brunch by myself, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just feel so much better. So learn yourself to know what works for you. Are you refueled by people, meaning you're probably an extrovert?
Mm-hmm.
Are you refueled by creative activities? Are you refueled by solitude and meditation,
Mm-hmm.
exercise? What refuels you, and make that part of your like regular routine as much as you
Mm-hmm.
can as well, versus burning out and getting to it. But I want to talk about that let go, because me and
Good
you,
with a
we
snap.
both driven women, right? We both driven women. And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, it is very hard to let go of control. I
Okay. Okay.
like to be in control, but it is literally a skill to let go, and it will allow you to be open to so many opportunities, right? But it's hard to let go
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because control feels like real control when it's actually very it's almost imaginary. You don't really have real control, right?
Yeah.
So did you have a struggle with control?
In some ways, I can say yes, and I still do in some ways,
Hmm.
but I'm learning to recognize what I can control and focus on those things. Um, I think that's important. Like in letting go, you have to realize what you need to let go of,
Yeah.
one, and trying to understand what you can control. Um, I think for me, especially when it comes to business, I tend to have my hands in everything
Hmm.
because I like everything done a certain way, and people
Yes.
always figure that out really quickly. And so I have to tell myself, okay, Tania, just trust them to do it. They can do it. They can do it. Or find people that you actually can trust to do
That
it.
you actually think
I,
can do it.
yeah, because I think what happens is you have people come in and do it, and they're not good at what they do. And then it's like you're scarred for life. It's like, I don't know,
It is. It is.
you
It's
don't know
like,
anybody to do it. So I think
and it's
first is,
because you don't trust them, and then they reinforce that I don't
yes,
trust them, and so in
yes,
your brain, you're like, well, I should have just did it myself because now I'm cleaning up the
yeah.
mess.
Yeah, I think, and I mean that's with anything, anything or anybody. It's
Hmm.
kind of like you're always right on edge, and then somebody's like, "Just give me a reason. Just give me a reason not to." Trust." And it's like, boom, it's over. So I think you just have to be open. You do have to be in a position to be open to that. And so my thing is, I'm trying to make sure that I surround myself with people who, I guess, have the same level of quality, just
Hmm.
when it comes to the work that they do.
Yeah.
And I just had a project recently that I stopped and outsourced a lot of it too. But I was able to sit back and give some of those things to people that I trusted to do them, that I've seen
Hmm.
their work, I knew their quality, we'd already worked together on other projects. And I think sometimes someone said to me, well, why do you want to do that? Like you're giving away business or you're giving, and I'm like, no, 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 no. You don't understand. I'm finding my peace
Yeah.
because now I recognize what's important. Here we go
Yeah.
back to having it all. I can't do all of these things,
Hmm.
and not prioritize and plan.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And you give some of these things to other people and trust these people to do them so that I'm able to have it all.
Exactly. And let's talk about people. I find that so important. I've said it multiple times on this podcast, is that we live in a world where it's very individualistic, right? So I
Mhm.
always tell the story. I went into a business Facebook group and was like, okay, who is your support system? I just posted in the comment in the, discussion, who's your support system? And everyone was like, God, God, myself, God. And
Yeah.
I'm like, God didn't put us on the earth alone.
Hmm.
There's a reason for other people. So I think it's so important, the people that you have around you,
Hmm.
and that they also match the kind of, I don't want to say energy, but the
Yeah.
phase you're in your life.
Hmm. I think that's true. And I don't think everybody has to be on your same path,
No,
but
not at
everybody
all.
has to be enlightened in the same way. I
Yeah.
think, and I think that is important. And if you surround your people, I mean, surround yourself with like minded people, I think that's very important. And, I had to realize too that let's say I'm into baking
Hmm.
and none of my great good friends are into baking. That is okay.
That is
I
fine.
still want to surround myself with my friends who are going to hold me down and, and that's fine. But then it's okay to reach out and be a part of other groups
Yeah.
that do kind of resonate and have those same goals. I think that's really important. A lot of times we just kind of get used to the people that are around us. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like, if I don't know you, like, first of all, like even doing business with strangers, like you'll be
Mm-hmm.
surprised if you look at a lot of um, businesses that are very successful that you see, like people linked up who did not know each other
Yeah.
to create these wonderful things. It just
Mm-hmm.
took them connecting, with that one little thread that they had was
Yeah.
able to build into something great. So I think that's really important, just surrounding yourself with like-minded people.
Yeah, I find that so important. And it may change as you talked about letting go, right? So
Mm-hmm.
letting go, and that applies to people sometimes too. I know I was in a phase where my child was with my parents and I was going to happy hour every weekend. Every Friday I was at happy hour. Then
Look
my
at you.
child came back
Uh-huh.
and I couldn't do that anymore. And
Uh-huh.
there was a disconnect because everybody else was single, no kids, they going to happy hour.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, well, I can't do that. And I felt a little guilty, but I just couldn't do that anymore. And so we kind of grew apart. And I had to realize, you know what? That's okay too. Like they're not bad people. I'm not a bad person.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it just doesn't work, and being able to say, okay, I can't try to go to happy hours because it just doesn't fit in with my life um
Yeah.
anymore. But just that's what I mean also about surrounding yourself with people who kind of, I guess, they understand and can flex to kind of what's going on in your
Mm-hmm.
life at the same time. I don't know.
No, and I agree with that too. I mean, and everybody's not in your life for the long haul.
Hmm.
We talk about reasons and seasons and all that good stuff, right? And
Yeah.
so I think um, that you can find that to be really true. And also, just in terms of some people, you probably didn't need to be around. Like they were just there. I mean, that if that was your only bond, I can say that because there are several people who I may not. They may be. I'm just saying,
I'm just saying.
like there are people in your life that doesn't make them a bad person
Yeah.
either. You enjoy that thing with them. So
Yeah.
they're not long haul, take them all the way, ride or die people. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So it's okay. It was for that season and that worked in
Yeah.
that season. So
All right. Okay, so let's go into the comments. We got a lot of
mhm.
comments. We see Miss Chandra said, additionally, you have to know when seasons of your life are over. So I couldn't go happy hour no more. She put this before I even said that. And it's time to shift to something different. As you had talked about, it was time for me to shift to be a parent, just like you were like, okay, I gotta shift and I gotta take care of my child.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And then we have patience and durability will get you to the top. That is true.
Yes,
Definitely gotta be durable.
you got to
As I
get back
mature,
there.
as I matured, I realized I no longer want some of the things I used to want. That is so true. Now I don't even know if I want to try to have it all. And I think that's the key, because I think when we think of having it all, it's actually quite overwhelming, right?
I think it's because of the word all. But
All.
it really doesn't have to be a whole lot because it's
Yeah.
defined by you, right? So
Hmm.
your have it all might be different than my have it all. Because really, some of the social stuff I could probably care less about.
Yeah.
So my idea of social could be me and my family hanging out with my friends and family. Like that could be my social life. Like some people
Yeah.
don't go out to the club or go to bars or things
Yeah.
like that. So I think it's dependent on how you define it.
Yeah, and allowing yourself to define it without and it's hard to say without the influence of like society, social
Mm-hmm.
media,
Mm-hmm.
family often
Mm-hmm.
influences us
Mm-hmm.
because, my mom used to say, I can't wait till you get married so I can stop worrying about you. I can't wait till when you're going to get married.
Uh-huh.
So we have pressures all around us telling us what we should be, how we should be,
Mm-hmm.
and being able to kind of separate ourselves from that and come up with our own definition of what that means, right?
I think that's really true. I think that's a big part of it because it's different for everyone.
And that comes with, let me tell you, it got easy. I'm not gonna lie. You know how you young and you hear people be like, when you get old, you learn stuff. I'm like, well, you ain't learned a lot. I'm just kidding. Kidding for people who are older. Uh,
Yeah, yeah,
but do you know what I mean? Like you're young
yeah.
and they're like, well, you'll figure it out when you get older.
Mhm.
As I've gotten older, I have been able, in my life experiences, have taught me to be able to define myself on my own terms. And that takes work, a lot of mental work to be like, okay, I'm going to define myself on my own terms.
Mhm.
I'm going to determine what success is on my own terms. And I don't care what y'all think.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's really important. I think that is a part of having it all. Like you have to know what defines you and what the things that you want. Um, and be purposeful.
Mm-hmm.
It's your purpose. It's what you want. What do you see for your life?
Yeah.
You know, we all define different things in different ways. I know like legacy is one thing people always throw out there.
Yeah.
And I'm always like, legacy isn't just what what you leave. When you have people like kids and things that you
Mm-hmm.
leave here too, it's about who they become.
Yeah.
I can leave you everything,
Yeah.
but if you don't know how to sustain yourself, go
Yeah.
sit proper.
Yeah. And legacy is also how you impact others, right?
Exactly.
So you can, you don't know, you could be impacting the next Barack Obama. You don't know who you're
Exactly.
encountering.
Yes.
You could, even if you impact someone who then
Yes.
goes and impacts someone positively at the grocery store, it doesn't
Exactly.
matter. That is part of your legacy as well.
Yes.
And I feel like that energy lives on.
Yes. It's
Way
very
beyond
important.
your name.
Yes, exactly. It's the energy that you put out there and who you impact. And I think for me that's a big part of having it all as well. Just trying to be impactful and living my purpose.
All right, so we're over time. We're over time. But before you leave, I want to know, for women who are trying to have it all, what are the 3 things you would suggest to them?
I think one thing we've hit on a couple of times is defining what that means to you.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have to kind of develop that plan of how you're going to get there. So you need to have your aha moment of, listen, I'm going to have that life that I want,
Mm-hmm.
period. And then once you come up with that plan, you actually have to execute it. I mean, whatever that looks like for you, you have to execute it. You have to figure out, what do I have to maneuver and change in my life to get the things that make me happy, that make me feel fulfilled as a person, so that I'm able to have it all. Having it all is about, I think, the peace, and being fulfilled and purposeful and intentional and having those things that you want. So,
All right, I love it. And I want to piggyback onto that with 2 other things you said that we hit on. Is when you do that, make sure you have the right people around you,
mhm.
right? And make sure that you are being resilient, right? Make sure you're
Yeah.
being resilient and that you keep on with your passion and be flexible with redefining like how you attack it if you need to. So,
Mhm.
Tani, I so appreciate your time today. Shout out to Cassandra Sampson. Rest is essential.
Oh, yes.
Designate a day to unplug. Oh, I used to do that on the Sundays and I stopped.
Tap out. Tap out.
Tap out. Then you have the
Tap out.
energy to fight another day. Shout out to Shalice. Release is a way of operating out of power versus control. Yes, ma'am. It's knowing you will remain connected to your destiny regardless of how things play out.
Agreed.
All right. And then great show, Miss and Miss But.
Well, thank you.
All right. Thank you. And then boom, boom. Thank you. All right. I really want to do like a boom, boom room joke, but we're just going to keep it moving.
All right. Be purposeful.
Purposeful. All right, everybody. I am going to share right now with you. Actually, Tania is going to share with you about her business and where you can find her.
Okay. So you can find me on Instagram at cakes_by_sweets_tea. And you can see all the things that I have going on, cakes, etc. It's a lot of different things, but you can see all things sweet life on that page. So just check me out.
All right. I think it's also in the description of the box. Before you leave, please like, share, subscribe. Thank you all, because we had technical difficulties, but you still showed up. You guys are the real MVPs.
Yes,
All
right.
right. We're going to call it a night. See you next week. Bye. Thanks, Tania.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.